Hello. Another live stream, another Sunday evening, another boiling Sunday evening in the UK. We've got a mad heat wave on at the moment, and it is getting warmer and warmer. It seems it's been crazy hot this weekend, and it still is now, so I'm sweating, and it's still very sunny out there as well. This evening I've got a little list of stuff that I want to try and get done, as I've said on the last couple of live streams, getting to the point where there's not a huge amount of work to do other than bug testing and things. So I'm just choosing things that I can do without putting any spoilers in there. This is live stream 39, I think. It's possible that live stream 40 might be the last one. Until I've got some beta testing done, because otherwise I'm not going to have much to be going through on these live streams other than pretty boring bug fixes, which are me sitting there trying to work out what's gone wrong with some of the logic. But that's a natural part of it. It's not exciting enough to do a live stream about, but what I might do is just some like updates as I get to certain points. And a few members of the community who have suggested they would be happy to do some beta testing. I'll get the beta build uploaded to Steam and get some beta keys out for those people with a testing sheet as well, which will just be a similar thing to I've got at the moment. I'll whip over and show you that. So this is the kind of testing sheet that I use. These are all like the not started and in progress, but if I go to done and in progress, you see there's like a massive list of stuff rated by what scene it's in, now what version it's in, because I'm starting to get the version control right for it. The severity of the particular bug, whether it's completely game breaking or it's just a quality or continuity thing. When it happens, what the issue is and what I think I can do to resolve it, and then I work through, and things that are in progress that I haven't finished are there in yellow, and then there's a big list of stuff that is still not rated or needs a retest or is in progress. There's quite a few of them, so I'll end up giving out a sheet like that basically that kind of helps me to gather feedback about the different parts of the game. So a couple of things I want to do this evening. One of them relates to this list. So this is in my main planning document, and it's a list of just like ridiculous carpet names, like carpet colours and styles and things like that. Like it's not enough these days to say you've got a blue carpet. It's like oceanic aqua or something like that. So I've got a lot of stupid ones that I've come up with, a few suggestions from people as well, things like pensioners biscuit and basking shark grey, Trump orange, gingivitis pink, that kind of thing. So I want to get all of those into a kind of like a randomized or one after the other list. If you keep looking at the samples book, it keeps coming out with different stuff, so I can add to those as we go. If anyone has any funny suggestions of some colours, I think I asked this a while back, but just pop them down in either the live chat or stick them as comments on the video afterwards once it goes live. That would be really helpful, and I can add those in as well, and I'll give you a shout out in the credits if you suggest some of them. So that's the first thing I want to do, is get them added in, and then the other thing is just general polish. What I said a while back is I want each scene to have at least something that's animated in it in the background. So I've kind of got a list of some just dead simple bits of pixel animation to do. So I'll hopefully get a couple of them done tonight. So in the kitchen, for example, the tap's just going to be dripping. I've got a list of them here. In the office, the water cooler is just going to be bubbling every so often because something happens with the water cooler later. It's like a related issue with the water cooler. I've got the shop alarm in the storeroom just like flashing. I was going to do a little spider in one of the bins. And I did want to do some little streamers coming from the aircon in the shop, because there's a puzzle related to that later, and it would then be obvious the aircon stopped working at that point. One thing I would like to do, I think again I mentioned it on the last stream, is put like a TV screen in the shop that's got a like rolling adverts on, but that would be quite a bit more work. So I'm going to leave that for now and crack on with the other bits. So yeah, I will dive into Unity. We've got the scene open in the shop where I'm going to add this thing. So it's this So Soft samples. When Clive walks up to them, if the player clicks on them at the moment, it's got this bit of dialogue that just says, like, softer than a whisper, the So Soft TM range of synthetic twists is a very popular choice for families. And then he's going to go on and say like one of the names from that list. So I was just going to extend this out, have it as a player line, and him just say the names of the colours is getting more and more bizarre these days. And then he's going to do, actually I'll put this in a separate dialogue. Just duplicate that after there. Like, here's one, ... and then he's going to say one of them. I obviously, when someone clicks on this again, I don't want them to go through this bit first. He's probably then going to instead kind of say, here's another one, and it'll jump those bits. So, because once someone realizes there's a few like silly things, they'll click through multiple ones. So what I want to do is set up a little switch here. I've forgotten what it is actually. I think it is action list. No, it's a variable actually. So you basically set up a sequence. So a running sequence. The number of possible values is 2. So the first time it runs, it goes that way and goes through that lot. And the second time it runs, it's just going to go to there. And then if I say save sequence value, we can create a global variable here. If I click auto create, give it a name. Actually, no, I've never used that button before. I would normally just go and set it up. I'll go and set it. It's not that I don't trust that button, I just don't use it very often. So this will be a global variable we're going to create. And this is just so that between saved games and things, it'll not go back through that bit. It'll then jump into the list of names each time. So if I set this as a integer, is that right? Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be a number. You could do this just with a variable, like a global variable of have they had this first explanation, really. In fact, I might just do that. It might be easier. Yeah, it's more reliable from my point of view, not having to debug it later on if there's an issue. So we'll just check a variable. So variable check. We're going to create a new variable here called boolean carpet colors. In fact, I'm going to call it act1 / carpet colors, and then it categorizes it. I went through that on a live stream. That's like really handy tip because it keeps all of your variables easy to find. So carpet colors will have it as false at the start. So here, global act1, it'll be under there now, carpet colors. If it equals true, actually let's call this something that'll make a bit more sense. So act1 would be carpet color intro played is a big variable name, but at least I understand what it means. So it hasn't been played at the start. So if it's equal to false, Then we want to set it to true so we don't forget. So variable set global act1 capit. Yeah, that forward slash thing is really handy. There is like knocking on what 60 different variables in the game, so I've now got them all categorized here, which is much easier to find them. So we're basically saying if it's false, if they haven't like had the intro played, then immediately set it to true and then play the intro. And if they have, then we're going to come straight down here. Here's another one. And then it's going to play one of that list. Now, I'm not quite sure how to do like a full list of them. There's probably a really clever way of doing it. But what I think, rather than it being randomized, we could, there's a couple of ways of doing it. We could do the same thing so that it just starts stepping through like a sequence. And I don't know how many names I've got in that list. What is the 3, 6, 9, 12, around about 20. Let's go for 20. And that'll create 20 different options, and it will just cycle through doing one at a time. What we could do is create just one new dialogue. Try to think of the most efficient way of doing this, because I'm going to end up with like 20 of these dialogues in order to do all 20 of them, but I don't think there's a way around it really, because even if I had variables and like a list, it would still have to be listed out somewhere. Unless I created an action that pulls a variable. No, you'd still have somewhere. We're still going to have to list all of these in some kind of table. So let's just do it. Let's do it the painful way, and just duplicate loads of these. So, I think if I just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I wonder how it's deciding where to put them. Is it where I click? It is. So this is going to be fun, but we need to just hook all of these up. I probably could do it some other way, but I can't think off the top of my head a kind of neater way of doing it. But this will have the effect that we want. What will happen is in about 10 minutes time, I'll suddenly have a brainwave and go, oh yeah, I could have done it that way, couldn't I? Doesn't really matter where these are aligned, I just need enough space to be able to wire each one. And what I might do actually, if I went auto arrange, I wonder what it would do. Not particularly helpful, but yeah, some of the these action list tools, I certainly have problems kind of, I think possibly because of my wide screen resolution, I get some weird like zooming like issues. And the issue with that is I now can't see the wires, so let's wire that up. Wire that up. Because the order is not really important to me. So let's just duplicate that. Nearly there. Nope. So some of these tasks are a bit tedious, but it should be worth it in the end. Wire that. I'm already like in the back of my mind as I'm doing this kind of process, I'm thinking, oh, there's got to be an easier way of doing that. I wonder if I just had used a pop-up variable. I'm gonna have a little think about it now. Like a pop-up variable can have as many different things as you want. I could put text in it, but I don't think I can pull it out to, so if I create like a variable check, yeah, I could have written a script to do it, but we're there now anyway. It's not too complex. It just looks a bit messy. So this here's one as well. The first time he runs it, here's one. It should go into there and just give you one the first time. Is that right? And then the second time it'll come through, it'll remember what's been updated, yeah, and it'll give you the next one. So let's set up, let's auto arrange them again. Oh, it's not put them down. It has. Nobody wants it arranged like that. Oh God. This is the issue when you're this far zoomed out and you've got a load of things selected. Let's grab all of them ones, drag them up to there. There we go, that's fine for now. Really sore throat today as well. So we're just going to copy and paste all of these in. Let's start with embarrassed salmon. That's a good one. I don't know which order to put these in, but I kind of definitely, I like that one. I find it funnier than some of the other ones, but embarrassed salmon is a good starting point. So the first one that will get seen is that one. Let's just strike through that. Basking shark, great. So the second one, yeah. And then we'll just randomly paste them in from here. I think I'm not that bothered after the first couple. Oops. Yeah, really frustrating when you double select things. So let's get pensioner's biscuit. Actually, let me just take all my formatting off them. Pensioner's biscuit. Lukewarm latte. Moldy avocado. As I said, if anyone comes up with any, do drop them on the chat. Disgruntled olive. A nice unfinished patio. I can imagine that being like a slightly browny grey. Forgotten denim, like that one. Forgotten denim. Gingivitis pink. Council estate grey. Bit of Trump orange. We've done our embarrassed salmon and overcooked sausage, of which there were a few at yesterday's barbecue. Sunday roast brown. Chicken corn beige. Wetherspoon's burgundy. Ferret forlorn. Bruised lilac. Nicotine ivory, everyone's favourite. Greg's blue. And last but not least, executive tour. Cool. So we've got all of them in. I'll give that a little tester. Let me just check my settings. Isn't going to kick me into the start of the game. No, we should be good, I think. I use that settings. It's like overall game start settings, really handy for testing stuff. I think I've mentioned it before. It's a good way to get things set up for a particular test. Oh, I've got the trigger in here still. It's the aircon getting broken. So this is the So Soft samples. Softer than a Whisper, the So Soft range too. It was pop choice families. Names of colours getting more and more bizarre these days. Here's one. Embarrassed Salmon. And then look again. There's another one. Basking Shark Grey. There's another one. Pensioner's Biscuit. Yeah, so they're all just going around lukewarm latte. Yeah, so that's good. That's nice. We've got that selection there. So that was one of the things on the list that I wanted to get done. Get all of those kind of funny shades in. The other thing are like kind of incidental bits. So at this point in the game, the aircon unit is broken and dripping, but in the early point of the game, it is kind of working. So I wondered about doing like some little streamers from it, like that are just kind of moving. So there's just a little bit of motion in there. I also, as I said, have been thinking about putting a TV there with adverts on, but that'll obviously be a lot more animation to do. So I'll concentrate on some of the simpler things. I'll maybe jump into the office and let's have a look at the water cooler. So in fact, I don't need to open it here. Let's go to it in Sprite. Oh, that's another thing as well. I've been thinking the delivery driver at the moment, if you remember from those who've been watching the rest of the streams, he delivers a parcel and at the moment it just appears at his feet. But I'm kind of avoiding animating him, having it by his feet and then picking it up and putting it back down inside the shop, because that would be some tricky extra animation, which I've got a feeling wouldn't look so great from this front on view. So I've been thinking of ways to make that little bit a bit nicer, really. Try and get a bit more fluidity in that bit rather than it just appearing. But yeah, still not sure of the solution for that yet. So there's the shop floor graphics. So there's the streamers I want to do from there. I want to do the office and get like just a little bubble going boop boop in there every so often. Might even get a little sound effect for it. So let's do that because that should be pretty quick. Auto select layer, click that. So the water cooler is all on one layer. So this bubble, I think it'll have to be semi-transparent on top of it. Bubble here, let's just make this a different colour so I can see it later. So it's literally going to have to, it's going to be kind of 1 pixel. It's going to go whoop like that and then disappear. Not sure how good this will look, but I think it's just going to have to kind of meander like that over maybe like a second, so 8 frames a second, something like that. It's going to be 8 frames. Maybe do it 12, and then we'll kind of fade it back so it's semi-transparent, and then when we overlay it, it'll look all right, hopefully. So I'm just going to start at the bottom like that, move on to the next frame. I'm going to have to copy this water cooler across a few frames and see where I'm drawing it. I can delete these later if I don't need them, but I need some guide. So just done that. So it's just gonna, I've got it as 1 pixel there, haven't we? Yeah, I'm going to turn onion skin on so I can see the previous one. I think we'll maybe have it turn into 2 like that. And then split. They kind of come out and boop, 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 boop. So very, very small, but and then I think what we'll probably do is that other ones would come out after it, but they probably wouldn't be as big because we haven't got a smaller pixel to play with. I'm going to make them more transparent. So I'm going to take this swatch that we've got, pull it down to much more transparent, add that here, and then just after they've set off, just have another one, follow it up. So let's take the opacity of that down, turn off onion skin. Yeah, so I know the background's flashing there, but that looks like some little bubbles coming up. So I just want that to happen every so often, really. So I think I'll put it on some kind of timer so that every so often it just bubbles. And you just see that it draws the player's attention towards it. It gives us some motion in there. I don't think there's anything else really that I can add any animation to. The phone flashes later on, but only when it's ringing. So there's nothing else I can really add there. I don't want to put a fan in there because there's a puzzle involving the fan, so I don't want to add another fan that's plugged in. So let's get that little bubble animation out. Super simple, but hopefully just add a little bit to it. So we're going to, I'll actually just select all of those bubble frames. Let's just do export a sprite sheet. We just want the selected layer, selected frames. We don't want it trimmed. Oh no, we do want it trimmed because we want it to be really, problem is I'm not going to be able to see this. This is going to be tricky actually. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do this. Do you know what? It's going to be so difficult to do. What I'm going to do is duplicate the water cooler. They're going to be so small, literal tiny pixels. When I get them into the Unity sprite editor to cut them up, if I've trimmed the sprite, I'm not going to know exactly how big it is. It's going to get really tricky. So I'm going to take the water cooler. I'm going to cut off all of this. And I'm going to export that with the bubble on it. And then at least I'll be able to check that I've got the whole bit that I need. So in that case, right, so both those layers and go File, Export Sprite Sheet. Now we can see the actual things. Sprite, selected layers, all frames. So you can see it's a full frame at the moment. If I did trim, I'm not sure why that's not, I would expect that to trim really close to there. Oh, if I do trim cells, that'll do it. So they're the individual frames of it. So if I want to export that, I'm just thinking ahead here that if it's even slightly off that, when it plays, it's going to move very slightly on the screen. So to avoid that, I want a frame that doesn't have a bubble on it at all. And ideally that should be the first frame, because that would be sensible. So I'm going to shift all of these along. Take that first frame of the water cooler so that it can sit there like that all the time and then play the little bubbles. And really it should have one of them on the end as well. So the first and the last frame have got no bubble graphics on them, and it's always going to be there in the scene, just paused, and then I can trigger it every so often. So all of that, export sprite sheet. So selected layers, all frames, trim the cells. So we should now, I think, have 12 frames, and the first and the last have got nothing on them. So let's give that, choose a path for it. So it's going into the office and call it bubble. Export that, is that right? Sprites, selected layers, all frames. I think so. Pop over to Unity. That's not Unity, it's Unity Hub. So we'll come across to the office scene. My scenes, office. So we've got the little water bottle thing there that's actually something you can look at. I'll just hide all of them so I can see what I'm doing. So I go into the project and search for bubble. There is the sprite sheet. We're going to set this to my preset of a sliced sprite sheet and apply that, and then have a look in the sprite editor. So you can see these are the normal bounds of the rectangles, so we're just going to remove all of these and set it up to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 slices. Yes, that was correct. So we can just do by cell count, columns and rows. So we're doing 12 columns. So then it, regardless of the pixel size, it just splits it into 12. And we've got the custom pivot at the bottom middle. So 0.5 along the x-axis and 0 along the y-axis. So slice that up. So these should all now have a little pivot at the bottom. Not hugely important, but just it's kind of where I tend to put them. Click apply, and then we should have all of these ready to make an animation clip out of them. So what we'll do first of all, in here, we'll create an empty game object and call it bottle. We're going to add that to it. So we get a sprite renderer. Is that added it as a separate? All right, let's just find out where that is. There it is. Reset its transform so it's the correct size. Move it over there, and this is the bit I was on about, like no matter how hard I try, because it's not like pixel locked, I can put it as close as I can humanly get it. Click away and then just try showing and hiding that. You can see it's slightly higher. So turn it on, grab hold of it. Nope, nope, can't nudge it. Yeah, it shouldn't matter because it's we're going to leave it on screen. That was weird that I dropped the sprite render onto that. Get rid of that. And it made a child. Bottle, bubble. So we've got that sprite renderer. What I want to do is add an animator controller to it, create an animation clip which is just that one frame so it doesn't move, or just tell it every so often to play the other one, because if it's in that mode it should be fine. So we want animator controller. Oh, animator it's called now, isn't it? Is that correct? Yeah. So we need to create a new one. Before I do that, because I'm going to lose focus on this if I do it, I'm going to create an animation clip of just the first frame. Bubble still. Ooh, 3 Bs. Nice. And then one that plays them all. Create an animation clip. Bubble launch. So we've got these 2 bits of animation ready. I'm not sure if when you drag one of these, if I launch, yeah, so there's a couple of different ways to create clips. I just create one there. So animation controllers, water bottle, bubble. That will give us a controller. That is not it, that's Clive's controller. So that's its automatic. It created that when I created the animated controller. So it would sit in that mode. I don't actually want that. I want it to be bubble still, and I want that to be the default state. Get rid of that. So when it first starts, it will go into that bubble still, which is the single frame. So that bubble still is just that sprite that we're seeing. And then the bubble launch, we're going to have that just sat there, and then we're going to call that and tell it to play it every so often when it's in this scene, and we'll just see how that works. So I think that's everything I needed to set up. Let me just click play on this scene. It won't do anything, or it shouldn't do anything. Shouldn't see any bubbles until I tell it to start playing. All right, we've got, yeah, this is because I've reset all my variables at the start so that I can get, do the testing. So yeah, we can see anyway that it's not bubbling, which is exactly what we wanted. Make sure it's not playing at the start, otherwise it'll just keep bubbling all the time. So we only want to play this bubble launch every so often. So when this starts, there's a lot of stuff that happens when this scene starts, including running the Act 1 title. And that's because that's CS trigger Act 1 title set to true. Let me just sort that out, otherwise we'll be watching that every time. So in settings, when we start the game, we could just put the Act 2 variable presets, and that will fire a load of preset variables that will make the game think we're in Act 2. So I'm hoping when you start that, all right, no, that's the intro to Act 2. Yeah, we don't want that. So it might be best if I just manually change that for now. Put it Act 1 after intro, and then change the variable. This is like my little paste board of things to set up. So I think I mentioned on a previous one, I've got all these groups of stuff for testing different bits. So if I hook to this fish guy convo in the shop, it'll start the fish guy conversation. That's when he's gone. That's the office phone ringing. That's some other stuff from later on in the game. That's the ladder in the side alley. So like, I use these to test lots of different things, and then I'm not messing with the variables in the game. And then when I come to do a build, I just set this back to Act 1 with intro and do a build, and then I know I haven't messed up any variables somewhere in the game. and left something unset. So what I want to do here is the one that's causing the problem is in Act 2. Oops, no, set global in Act 2. Oh, it's a cutscene trigger. Act 1 title. Set to false, so it doesn't put the Act 1 title up because it thinks we're in Act 1. And if you came into the shop in Act 1, it would show the title and then it would say, I've done that. So it wouldn't show it the second time. Hopefully that's sorted it. Let's click play and he should just arrive at the door. I hope. Yep, so I haven't got a cutscene. Cool. So that just makes it easier to test this. So when it starts, there's lots of different things that happen. What I could do here is just either add it in here, get rid of that because it's not being used anymore, so that it's just doing it and looping through on a timer. I've not actually done Adventure Creator timers, so maybe that's something to look at. Like, is there a timer? Don't tend to use them, but I'm trying to think where it is. Engine? Nope. Change timescale, that's not what we want. I mean, we could just do a wait. Let's set up another action just to deal with the bubbles, because it's sometimes handy just to have things in separate. They're called cutscenes, but it's basically an action that's being run, an action list that's being run. Rename that to Bubbler. So open Bubbler, and then we're going to just come into here. You could use that engine wait at the start. I always leave that first one there. I don't know why. I've just got in the habit of doing it. Gives me like an option to put something in between the start. What do I want to do? I want to trigger that, but only every so often. So I wonder if we can just do a random. No, we'll just do it on a timer. So we'll just say to wait for testing. Let's just wait 2 seconds. And then just do an object animate using Mechanim. Are we? No, we're using Sprites Unity. We're going to play a thing. So we're playing the bubble. That's the one with the actual animator on. And the clip we wanted to play was that one that I think was called Bubble Launch. Too many windows. Yeah, so Bubble Launch needs to be spelled exactly the same. I often make the things just easier like launch, but let's just do that. Bubble Launch. So it's going to wait 2 seconds, play Bubble Launch. At the moment, that'll just loop and loop and loop. But let's just check that out. So we can check a few things, because the animation itself. Bubble Launch. The animation itself there is running at 12 frames a second. We maybe want to just do it at 8. See what that looks like. And we just need to make sure that when it starts this scene, it fades out there. It does lots of different stuff. What we'll do is just put a action list running parallel. 2 different things running. We'll hook into here. Run exactly all the stuff that we're running here. So you don't want to affect any of that. And then we're going to run an action list, run in scene, and the one we're going to run is called Bubbler. So we're just going to run that as well. We won't say wait till finish, we'll just let it go. So we can stay out of there and just deal with the bubble a bit. So it's going to wait 2 seconds and then it's going to bubble. Let's just put 3 because it sometimes takes a while for the scene to initialize. And it's just going to loop, but we'll get a sense of how fast it goes, I think. So 3 seconds, and there they go. Oh, it isn't looping. That's fine. Don't really want it to loop, so I wonder why it's not looping. Well, the default is to loop. So bubble launch, yeah, it's not set to loop time. If I click loop time on there, if you wanted it to loop, then you could do that. 3 seconds, and there it is, bubble, bubble, bubble. I mean, what might be nice actually, because I'm doing this so I want some motion in the background. Let's just take the actual animation itself. And you can just do it on this timeline. You could grab all of that, copy it. So they're all the frames of the bubble, and just wait like, I don't know, 5 seconds. 4 seconds there. Wait a few more seconds. Do a little bit there. Wait a bit longer. So it's all now like in that one animation clip, and then we don't have to really worry about putting an action together for it. And because it's going to loop, it's just going to get to the end and go back again. So you've got like these sets of bubbles which kind of happen quite close together. And then there's a bit of a break, then you get one, but then it's not quite as quick as the other one. And then you wait a little bit and you get one that's a bit longer. So each one of them is going to be a run through of those frames. So the bubbler, kind of don't need it, to be honest. We'll leave it in because then it waits a few seconds before the scene starts, but that's just going to keep playing forever basically. If I click play now, have a look at that. So wait 3 seconds, off it goes, bubble, and then it waits a few seconds, and then it bubbles again, and then waits a bit. And there's another bubble. I'm saying that you might even be able to see that on the stream. Oh, I can't zoom in from there. Let's just play it full screen, you'll be able to see it better. Play it maximized. And go up and see the bubbles there. Go up a little bit. It's precisely 15 litres or 3.62 US gallons of water. Yeah, so it looks quite nice at full size. Just adds a little bit to it. Yeah, that's cool. That's all I wanted really, just something else that's moving about. Good evening, Fritz Hugo. Yes, hardworking solar developer is working in this heat. 32 degrees outside and 28 inside. Yeah, said that at the start of the stream. I'm in shorts. It is really, really warm. There's a massive fan here, but I turned it on and my mic picked it up, so I haven't turned it on. Yeah, even the weather can't stop me. But yeah, it's been brutal. Not like the UK at all. It's been really, really hot. Right, the next thing I want to do in here, again, I kind of want to introduce a little bit of animation into each room. I can't have this fan on because it's part of a puzzle. I think I'm just going to have this little alarm box light flashing, just so that it's something moving in the scene. I want something in it. Yes, the tower fan, I've got a tower fan and I've laid it down sideways so it can do more of my body. It's also because I took it off the base about 2 years ago and can't find the base anymore. Yeah, I've been needing that on quite a lot. So that alarm box one, it is literally going to be a little red flashing light. So rather than doing that as a piece of pixel art, what I'm going to do is just create a single red little light thing and flash it, so do it in Unity. So we should have something animated there. Let's just come back this way actually and just check 3 seconds before the bubbles. There we go, bubble. Yes, I could give him a venti as well. The fans are used in a couple of the puzzles, so I immediately thought I'll put a fan in there, but yes, it would spoil some of the puzzle bits. So here in this first bit, this aircon, I was going to put little streamers on that as well, so I might do that in a moment. But let's have a look at this little light. So let's save that. We've got our bubbling what's it called? Water cooler. So we've got that sorted. Let's open the I mean, some of these things are going to be so small you wouldn't notice them, but I think it kind of matters. I like to have something moving on the screen. Where are we going? We're going into the storeroom. Yeah. And we need this alarm box here. So what I might do is just create, yeah, we in the UK, where are you based, Fritz? Are you in Germany, did you say last time? We just don't have air conditioners in the UK at all. It's just not a thing, unless you're in a hotel. But yeah, nobody at home has aircon. Some people buy little floor aircon units, but yeah, very different. Because it's not this hot, basically. We've never got to the stage where we need them, but year on year, it's getting hotter and hotter for obvious global warming reasons. And we're getting to the point now where a lot of people talking about it in circles of friends. I think I'm going to get an air conditioner because it's just getting crazy. People were sat in their cars last week just to use the aircon because it was so hot everywhere. So just going out, sitting in the car and putting the aircon on. I don't have that luxury. I've not got aircon in my van. It's pointless blowing 32 degrees into your face from the blowers of a car engine. That didn't help at all. Right, what was I doing? I was going to create a light for this. It is literally like 2 pixels across. So I'm wondering if I've got something that is just a red sprite. Maybe not. What we'll do then is just create a light. So we have these pixel lights we've been using. Well, actually, I have got an LED pulse elsewhere. So let me, bit of a spoiler, look away. We've got an LED light that we've used before that we can use again. And this is super bright. We're going to need to make it much smaller. I'll get the fall off smaller. Do you know, it might actually look a bit too non-pixel art for my liking. Oh God, yeah. You're saying the 480 and CPU make it too hot to work with Unreal and Blender and stuff. Yeah, it's not so bad in this room because I'm at the front of the bungalow and the sun comes up over the back, so it gets really hot at the other side of our house, and then the sun comes this way in the evening, so this room never gets as hot as it is out there. I'm looking at this and thinking this isn't going to be the right look. It's going to look too like modern, if that's the correct word. I don't want that kind of look to this pulse. I might keep it, and I might use it as a little thing, but that to me is just too big. Yeah, I might put like a tiny little bit of red on it. This is already set up to pulse because I've done it for a bit later on in the game that I won't spoil. So you see that pulse, it's too big a pulse for like a tiny little red button. So I think I need to make that smaller. I don't know actually. I don't think scale affects these lights. Doesn't matter what size you put them. Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna be hot. 70 Celsius heating PC, right? Yeah. It rained here, like we got a huge amount of rain yesterday, but it was on and off. It was still like close to 30. I was at a friend's birthday barbecue and then we were watching the England World Cup game after that. And it was just so hot in the afternoon, and then we got a massive thunderstorm and it just soaked everything. And then it felt so much nicer after the rain came. So yes, hope you get some rain tomorrow. That would be helpful. I don't know if I can make this as small as I want to make it. So like 0.01 and make that 0.02. Oh, you can, yeah. 3, 4, 5. I mean, this might be enough actually. Let's have a look at full scale. It's too bright, too orange. And it makes it look like you really should be looking at this thing, and it's not that important. So the intensity definitely needs to come down. It's really hard to see with these little icons in the way, and there is a way of turning them off. It just escapes me where it is. I think we've moved the button. Oh, it's all the way down there. Gizmos, that's it. Turn the gizmos off. No, that is a good point, Fritz. The great thing about grilling is you don't need to grill anymore. You just put the meat directly on your car roof for about 5 minutes, and that is correct. It is crazy, crazy hot. Can't quite get this how I want it to look. I don't want it to be like massively glowing in your face. I don't want it to be like a perfect circle that looks obvious. So we can soften it. Make that really small. Let's give that a go. It's still too intense, isn't it? Oh, I know why. Because there's a script running its intensity, I think. So what does Clive say when we look at it? Don't fiddle with that. It's managed by head office, yeah. No, that's fine. I think that looks all right. Yeah, it's enough to get someone's attention to look at it. It does go a little bit bright. I think I wrote did I write a script that sits on it? Oh no, there is actually an animator pulsing it there. Yeah, so the intensity here, we could just change that intensity down to say 4, maybe even less, 3. And similarly at the other end, take that down to 3. It save them, yeah, it does. There we go. And we'll move on to the kitchen next and do like a little dripping tap, I think. Yeah, that's better. Okay, all good there, I think. I love the idea of when the lights come on, like a little spider runs away as well. I think that would be quite cool. Yeah, I might do that actually. So it's like there's a spider in the dark, and as soon as you turn it on, it just goes boop and runs up there behind the thing. That might be nice. I'll have a think about that another night. So kitchen, let's go over the kitchen. As I say, tonight is really, his name, Fritz's name is Clive, Clive Bottomley. The thing I'm trying to do tonight is just add a little bit of motion, a little bit of something to each scene, just to give it a, oh, the name from the spider. Oh, yes, that would be good. Mr. Parker, the spider. Right, this tap dripping then. So same thing as we did with the bubble. Let's save that. Got our bubbles there. So we want to open up. Right. Locations. Kitchen. I can never see it. Kitchen. Oh, this was a long while ago because I was still doing regions. I was drawing regions while I was learning the best way to do it. Yeah, some of these now are a good few months old since I drew them. So we want to see the tap. That's strange, I've already got a region around it. Oh, I know why. It's because it had we had a sponge or a bit of soap there. Soap. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, it was that little bit of soap. What did I call it? Soap there. Yeah, I haven't been using those regions since, I don't think. So what I want to do is just we'll do it above all of that. I'll try, I failed. Tap, drip. Into there. I mean, this is going to be nice and simple, this one. Create an empty scene. I could do with just snipping. Same as before, I need some reference to where the tap and the edge of the thing is. So I will whisk down to the background. What does it class that layer as? Utensils. I drew it on the utensils layer. Not helpful. Let's just marquee select all of that. So I can see the edge of the sink as well. Copy all layers, hopefully. Control Shift and C. That is a Photoshop thing, but move to there, paste it. And yeah, we've got a little block of that. Just do a few frames of that, just so I can see where the edge of the sink is. So we want a drip of water, something nice and bright. We've literally got a couple of pixels to work with. I'm going to leave the first frame blank. We'll do, actually not the first frame, let's put it as a double like that. And then it can kind of go forwards and then separate as a double. Fall. Everything speeds up. So a few pixels down, and then disappears. So we want an extra blank frame at the end. Delete that pixel. What's Fritz saying on Twitch? I'm going to sit in my spaceship, Star Miner, for a little while, enjoy a fresh banana Villa ice cream. That's all my brain can handle. Have a fantastic streaming night. There'll be no bugs to make your life difficult. Thank you very much for it. I hope that there are no bugs. I know there are. There's a massive list of them. I showed it at the start of the stream. There's quite a lot to do at the moment that needs retesting, not started, some severe ones. Got to work my way through them, but I am at beta testing stage now. I can play the whole game start to finish. This is all just little bits of polish until I can get some beta testers sorted to tell me what I need to fix. But yeah, thanks for popping along, Fritz. Good luck with your game. Hope you're not melting and enjoy your fresh banana vanilla ice cream. Cheers for popping along. All right, this should yeah, that would be cool. Drop me a message on YouTube. You'll be able to find my email address at the top of my YouTube channel, somewhere in there, contact. And yeah, I'll send out a beta test key once I've got the beta test keys from Steam. And that Excel document, if you don't mind, that would be fantastic. I know you've been along to a few streams, that would be cool. Thank you, yeah. Enjoy the rest of your red hot evening. So let's just zoom out, see that in context. What does it actually look like? Yeah, so we've got a drip. It's fine. We just want to get those frames out now. That isn't a blank frame. Why is that? Oopsie daisy. Is that the final frame? Yeah. Oh, I can see what I've done. To there. Delete that frame. I just want a blank at the start and the end so that I know I've cleared it when if it loops. So we just want that frame. We've got the same issue again where it's going to be like a single pixel. It's going to be really hard to shut up. So we're going to need to probably bring the tap with it so I can line the tap up. So let's go down and get the tap. We can delete that layer now. Oh, where? Why aren't they visible? Oh, it's because I'm on the wrong frame. Cool. Thought I'd delete everything then. So it's on the utensils layer. We could do with getting it off that layer. So let's just toggle it off. Right, good, the shadow's not with it. At least I did one thing right when I first drew this. So we're going to cut the tap off there. We're going to get a new layer there, paste the tap onto there. Just go across all of those frames with it. And then we can bring the whole tap in. It'll be much easier to cut out, same as the bubble that we did earlier on. Tap. So grabbing those frames. I don't know why it's grabbing this extra frame, this frame 8 here. Not quite sure why it wants to do that. There's nothing on them. Ah, I see why. Because I created one. That keeps coming back. Go away. Two blank frames. Drip, drip, drip. Disappear. Disappeared. Yeah. So we want both of those layers. The mailing address. So let's have a look. If you go to Great Adventure Game Dev on the main channel, I think. Oh, I think we click more. Ooh. Oh, I thought there was a contact thing there. One more link. What's that? No, that's Twitch. That's. I thought there was a way to contact somewhere up there. I will sort that out. I will find a way to put it there. I'm sure there used to be. Is it on the community page? No. No, it isn't. There must be a way to do it because another user emailed me a couple of weeks ago from there. Yeah, I can do. Oh, I kind of don't want to give out my whole email address on a stream, to be honest, because I get loads of spam. So if I will sort it out, you're on Twitch, aren't you? I'll message you. Yeah, I'll private message you on Twitch and I'll send that over. Okay, cool. Yeah, thanks for that as well. Appreciate it. I'll send you a PM straight after this. Right, let's get these frames out. Export sprite sheet. You can see that it's trimmed the tap sprite, trimmed the cells. We're doing the selected layers. Okay, cool. Right, frames. See ya. Have a good evening, Fritz. Cheers. Thanks for dropping by. Good luck with your stuff. Hope you don't melt. Let's export that as. Needs to go into my sprites, rooms, kitchen, wherever kitchen is. Tap, drip, save, export, jump back over to Unity. So load this into here. Gonna have to do the same thing really. So if we search for tap underscore or drip, just check the settings of that. That it is a sliced sprite sheet. Apply that. Go to the sprite editor. Rid of all of them. And it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 columns. Column count, 8 columns, slice, apply, then drag. I'm going to try just dragging that. See, this is what I tried to do before and it doesn't normally let you do it. It's got to land on a game object. So I'll create an empty game object, call it tap drip, which I'm assuming it's going to do the same thing it did last time here, which is you drag it on and it makes it a child. Yeah, which is silly. Take it off, put it back. So tap drip. This needs to have the animator controller on it. I think this time to begin animating, to click the animator and add animation, if I click that, it should do both. So, this is creating an animation clip. See, I don't like the way that these are created. That's a quick way to make an animator, but it then automatically creates this tap drip thing. And that animation, I'm not sure you can actually drag Can you just drag a sprite into it? Yeah, you can't drag a sprite into it, which is really annoying. That would be a much, I mean, that would make a bit more logical sense for me. So I'm going to have to create, same as I did last time, an animation clip from that called tap no drip. Go to the animator, have that as the default. I mean, all that tap no drip's got in it is that single frame. I don't know why I couldn't just drop that sprite onto it, but anyway. And then the other one is the actual animated drip. So select all of them, create animation clip, call that tap drip anim, drag that into the animator, give it a simpler name. Let's just call it dripping for the hiccups. Dripping. That tap drip animation. We're going to loop it, and then we're going to call that. I mean, to be honest, we don't even need to call it. Let's just make that the default. Let's just have it dripping all the time. We'll just put a pause at the start of it by just moving the frames along. So the dripping one, it'll automatically go into that. So we don't need the no drip. Just delete it because it's just confusing when I come back to this and wonder why I've done it. So the tap drip anim is this one. I'm going to zoom out a bit. It's just 8 frames a second. Let it wait for a second before it starts. Copy all of them. Wait a few seconds and drip. I mean, actually, taps tend to drip rhythmically, don't they? So let's just shift all of that along to 3 seconds. So every 3 seconds it'll drip and then it'll just loop. So if I play that scene, oh, I've actually moved it. So where did it go? Tap drip, focus. There it is over there. We need to reset. Good evening, Mike. You did nearly miss this one. It is 8:20. I wouldn't worry. You can always watch it back on YouTube. I know you do sometimes. I've mostly been doing tiny little bits of animation in the background whilst sweating profusely because it is still really hot here. Even though it is now nearly 8:30, it has been really warm again today. Let me reset that. So we've got our tap the right size. And we want it to sit perfectly over the other tap or as close as we can. Turn it off, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on. Needs to come. I can't move my mouse slowly enough to do it. That's close enough for my liking. So that is set up. Hopefully now that is dripping. I'm going through so much juice as well. I'm just constantly drinking liquids. Wait 3 seconds. Drip. Wait 3 seconds. Drip. There it is. So it doesn't actually have a line of dialogue for the tap yet, but let's put that in as well because now you can see it dripping. I need to move that soap. Yeah, in fact, let's just put the soap close at the edge of the sink. A zest lime scented soap. Yeah, so then we can have the tap a little bit separate, a bit further away. So let's move. We are just at the stage now, Mike, I was mentioning earlier on the stream, where I am probably going to stop doing the live streams after the 40th one, which is a nice round number. So this is live stream 39, because I'm, I guess, running out of interesting things to do. These little bits are all nice, but it's just polish, polish, polish now. And until I get beta keys out and get feedback from those beta tests, then it might be that some of those beta tests come back and say this bit of the game was too quick, got through the puzzles too fast. Like I'd like people to time how long it takes to get through certain bits of it, so I can get an average. I've already thought about adding a new puzzle and an NPC to the other act later on in the game, but I'm not going to do it until I've got some feedback. And I think until I get some of those feedbacks, I'm kind of running out of things to do on the live streams, really, that aren't total spoilers for the end of the game. And I've now completed all the finale stuff, the finale voiceovers, like the literal end game screens and bits of animation for the outro. It's all done. So yeah, I am getting to the point where I need to get beta test stuff sorted out. So I'm just making sure it's all going to work. And on these live streams now, just doing last little tasks that I wanted to do. So I'm just trying to add something, a little bit of animation into each of the scenes. So the dripping tap, we need to shift this soap. Please tell me I didn't set it up in a way that meant the holes. Oh, I did as well. This was one of the early scenes I drew, so the soap is actually on a massive plate. If I put it there, what I'm concerned about is the soap has, why can't I see the hotspot for the soap? That is my question. Is it because I turned off? Yes, it is. Yeah, right. So the soap's going to need to move to there to go with it. Yeah, I got better at doing this as I learnt better ways of doing it during this process. So now quite often the hotspot itself is on the pixel art game object. So I can hide them both at the same time. But yeah, I wasn't doing that at this stage of the game. So I just want to double check that that hasn't messed anything up. It shouldn't have done. And I was obviously exporting the whole sprite. So the soap's on the edge of there now. It better matches his hand animation. That's cool. The tap. We just want to set up a little hotspot for that. So, have I decided, question from Mike, this is on YouTube, have you decided whether or not to have voiced characters? I think I have decided not to. I have tried both my own voice through the voice changing stuff I've been doing. I tried a bit of an AI voice. I even had a look around Fiverr because I got a professional voice over artist to do the Polycity Stories main character, which was great, which was really, really fantastic. It adds so much to that game. Having like an American like cop voice, but in this I could not find anything that felt right for Clive's voice, and I think sticking to the retro roots of this, it's non-talky as I used to call it, so I'm going to stick with that for now, and maybe change my mind at some point, but I think it's also a huge amount of extra work, but potentially extra money. So and I kind of like I think some of this comedy, some of the funny lines are good when you read them rather than when you hear them, so I've gone with that. In the last live stream, the voiceovers, I've got voiceovers at the start to introduce the game. I've changed that voice as well. It's my voice, but it's with a voice changer. And then there's like the outro where it talks about what happens at the end. They have got subtitles that I did in Unity Timeline, which was really, really handy as well. I kind of wish I knew about Timeline, but I wasn't using it. I wish that was the case at the start of the game, because there's so many things that I've timed with a load of like adventure creator actions that I should have just done in Timeline. We'll definitely use it more next time. Right, let's get this hotspot on there. I think I can just add them, can't I? What? Just said I've been doing it a different way and I've completely forgotten how I've been doing it. You can just add a hotspot to that. Hotspot. and then add a polygon collider, just doing them manually, make sure it's a trigger, edit that collider, it's fine as it is, I'll just tighten it up a bit. He says it's fine as it is and then tightens it up. It's fine, it's big enough hit area for it. And then we want an examine interaction. We want the player to walk to the marker, and it's that one there. What's that called? See if we can guess. Oh, it's off the screen. It's probably the draw marker. Yeah, when he uses that draw. So he's going to walk to the draw marker, he's going to face it after moving, and we want to call this dripping tap. Well, let's just call it tap. No, let's call it dripping tap. So we'll run the interaction, examine dripping tap, get the dialogue in there. I think this has been dripping for the last year. Probably just needs a new washer. I'd calculate it, because of his nature, Clive, he would obviously do some kind of calculation of how much water has been wasted from the dripping tap. I'd calculate over 365 days at 1 drip per 3 seconds. We might have wasted around, what should we say? How much is this? How much water is in a bath? Let's get a measurement. Let's get a measurement. How much water in cubic meters is in a standard bath? .23 cubic meters. Let's go with that. Wasted around 0.23 cubic meters. Oops. With water. Tragic. Tragic. Right, if wasted around cubic meters of water. Tragic. There we go. So we've got something in there for the tap. Just check all that functions as I expect. Right, and sometimes those little like last lines that he does. Oh, he blinks now as well. I think I set that up the other day. He's got sideways blinks now. He's got downward blinks. And if you leave him long enough, he scratches his head and things as well. So he's feeling a bit more alive. I think for that dripping tap interaction, dripping tap, what I'd like to do, let's just duplicate that. Whoops, a daisy, duplicate. I'm going to have him turn to camera. I sometimes like the little Clivisms to happen while he's facing the camera. So we'll just do a character, like a breaking the fourth wall type thing. Face direction, it is affecting the player. We want him to face down. We wait until he's finished, and then he's going to say the last line. Calculate over. Yeah, so that now should just feel a little bit more directed at the user. And I like that. I love that in Monkey Island when Guybrush like turns to the player and says things. I think it's been dripping for the last year. Probably just needs a new washer. I'd calculate over, and then he turns and faces you while he says that. Yeah. These as well, I keep seeing these. They were going to be notes from Tyler, but we've got like post-it notes and other things that like bring those kind of clues together. But these I still haven't decided what's actually going to be written on them now. And there's some other bits and pieces as well. There's like the pop balloons from his birthday. There's some other bits that still need some dialogue. I could stick something on there now. So possibly something to do with, let's go over there, let's stick some hotspots, like a shopping list for Tyler, or a safety thing. Let's just create some clean hotspots for that. Let's call it note. Focus on that, drag it into place. Just put it above there. No, I won't stick it right in the middle. Just use the scale tools. Oops, a daisy. I'm so hot, like my fingers sticking to the mouse. Really bad. Right. We've already got a marker down there, haven't we? That he, no, actually, it's a bit close, that one. Let's give him a new marker just there. Call that marker pinboard. So when you click that note, the walk to marker should be the pinboard. I don't know why that's going off screen every time I click it, but it is. I think it's because I'm normally in widescreen, but I did that for the first few live streams and couldn't see anything, so right. So an examine interaction for that. He should walk to the marker, face after moving. This is what he should say. He should say, it's a note Tyler wrote to himself a few months back. It's to remind him to, what would something stupid that Tyler would be doing? To remind him to he's a conspiracy theorist. He drinks too many energy drinks. Oh, that, yeah, let's do that. So we've mentioned his energy drinks quite a bit. To remind him to renew his subscription of energy drinks. I think he's currently on Blue Rat, which was a Sean Locke joke. It was in one of the Sean Locke's sitcoms years ago. It was like Blue Wicked. So I think he's currently on Blue Rat. Maybe we can do a little turn to camera here again. Character, face direction, down, wait until finish, duplicate that. His current flavour, his current favourite flavour is Blue Rat. Now, go, and then duplicate that note, put it on that one. We need a new interaction for note 1. So we mentioned a character which we never see called Janine, who is on maternity leave. So what I'm going to do here is maybe re-reference her. It's not from Janine. What could it be? It's a note from Janine reminding us to water the plants. It's been there for a few years. And eventually, head office just provided us plastic ones instead. I could be copying the actions from this one, to be honest. Copy them, paste them into there. Which is going off on my arm for some reason. It's not from Janine reminding us to water the plants. It's been there for a few years, and eventually head office just provided us plastic ones instead. Failed to follow her instructions. I might tighten up that dialogue a bit later. I'm just making sure I've got some things in there. I think the things that people are going to want to click on. Let's have another one down here. The Christmas lights. I mean, a lot of these are just incidental fun bits of like dialogue between things. Let's add, I never know whether to create a completely new one. So this, what's this called? Item spray. So I'll create fire extinguisher. Skim that in as close as I can. Overlay on that spray can there. So we're going to walk to the marker. Oh no, I didn't want to create a new one. Undo that. Walk to marker. Spray. Examine. Walk to marker. Face after moving. Dialogue. Play speech. So it is, you know, I did a fire awareness course the other day and I've completely forgotten, but let's, what types of red fire extinguisher are there? It's like a type, so red ones. We need some inane information about it. It's a red with a, I haven't actually put a panel on it, have I? Let's have a look. What does it look like? It's just a red one, it's a plain one. So let's put some useful information. Solid red, wood, paper and textiles. Let's have a look at the IFSEC. I'm just looking for this to be yeah, so we can say it's only suitable on wood, paper and textiles, which is handy being that we're a carpet shop. All right, okay. The standard issue, water-based fire extinguisher. Suitable only on wood, paper and textiles. And we'll do his little turn to camera thing again. Handy in a carpet shop. That'll do. We want another one for box of decorations. Yeah, and he's going to be going to exactly the same walk to marker, which was that item spray marker. It's going to be an examine interaction. He's going to walk to it and face it. Sometimes helps when I talk out loud, to be honest. I go through these systematic things. Paste the actions from before. Duplicate that one. It's a cardboard box full of Christmas decorations. I'm not sure why they're being stored here rather than in the storeroom. Perhaps Tyler moved them during his stock check last night. Yeah, so some of these are pointing to things in the narrative, in the story, so they're kind of useful little devices for keeping people on track with the story. So we've got our dripping tap. Lovely. Check our fire extinguisher. Box decorations. Oh, spelled perhaps wrong. There's going to be loads of spelling mistakes in this. I'm going to do an export of all the text and run it through a spell checker, I think, just to go on. There's so many lines of dialogue, hundreds of lines of dialogue in it now, so. But when I spot them, fix them, perhaps Tyler moved them. Right, so we've done a bit of dripping tap there. Let's have a look at the list. Tap drip in the kitchen, aircon streamers we were going to do. We've done a water cooler bubble, done the alarm flashing. We're going to do a spider in the bin. Yeah, let's do a spider in the bin. I'm worried about the aircon streamers because I don't know whether they're going to look like they're streamers if they're just like moving. So let's go across to the bin scene. Which one? One of them's got a spider web in it. Left dumpster. You know it's going to be the wrong one. Oh, no, it is. Okay. Got a web in it. So I either want the spider just to be moving about a bit, so he's always there moving, just give a bit of life to it. And that's probably what I'll do. And then maybe with the other bin, we'll have one that scurries away as soon as you open it. So with this one, go to Air Sprite, save the kitchen, close it, close the office. Can I close that? Oh, I was about to draw the TV, but no, I'm going to leave that for now. So let's open the... Mine's gone blank. In locations, left dumpster. Right, so there's the spider web. We're going to create a new layer, call it spider. Let's get sample that colour there. We just want a little, I mean, because of the perspective, it would be hanging down indirectly the line of the bin like that, so it wouldn't be flat down like that. That would look weird. Would it look weird? Does that look weird? Or does that look weird? Kind of needs to be parallel to the line that's going to the floor, doesn't he? Otherwise he wouldn't be going to the floor. Let's do it like that. Let's just... It doesn't want to be big. It just wants to be enough that... If we're going to have enough pixels to even make this look like a spider. Let's go with it. I'm going to have to do my usual, I think, and create just a little snip of all of the layers. It's just for some context of what's under him. That'll include the spider as well, won't it? Silly. It's all right. Just sort that out. That time we're on. Oh, it's nearly 9 o'clock actually. Not get this one done. I'd like to start it at least. Let's have him. He's a him. He's called Peter because Fritz Hugo, who was on Twitch earlier on the stream, when I started talking about spiders, he said it should be called Peter. So we'll make a joke of that somewhere. We'll put the Peter Parker joke in there. So I think I'm going to start him higher up and he comes down. I'm going to do it flat. The more I think about it, it's a bad idea to try and do the perspective. It's going to look like he's coming diagonally out of there, I think. So let's start him up here. It's going to need to be at least that big, I think. Looks like a Space Invader. Got long legs, hasn't he? I don't want him to look too regular like a Space Invader. That'll do for now. Let's move it on a frame. Down a little bit. Can't tell now if that... Oh, it's on the other frame, isn't it? Idiot. Yeah, I snipped the frame while it had the spider web on it. Better. I can see what I'm doing now. So that's that frame. That. I do not understand what's going on. Why have I got a hole? I'm utterly confused. Why am I getting that there? Hide everything. Sure, that's why you're going insane. Too hot to think, really. Right, now I've definitely plugged that hole. I can see what I'm doing. Spider, second frame of spider. We're getting there. Going to move that pixel and that pixel. That's going to come in a bit. Come in a bit. We're going to move next frame. Shift him down, fill in his web. Down. His web, oops. Candid. That. It's a sudden jump, wasn't it? Too far. Go back. So let's settle him in a position that doesn't look too weird. like he's decelerated to there. So he goes a bit quick and then kind of stops there. And I think all I can really do, I have to see how this looks at full pixel speed, but the legs to the right, to the middle, and they're going to go to the left. I just don't want it to look like his legs are just flashing, but I mean, we're talking about a couple of pixels, so he's kind of going left, right. So I've got 10 frames there to play with. Okay. So if we delete that layer, export him, he's going to be absolutely tiny, but at least he's not 2 pixels across like we had with the water drip earlier on. We want all of those frames. File, export as a sprite sheet. See, it's sliced there. Trim it. All of that seems good. Oh no, I've just copied over something. That was silly. What did I just copy over? File, export, sprite sheet. What's that? 9 o'clock. That is today. All right, okay. I didn't copy over anything. Good. Because it went into the wrong folder, which is handy. It needs to go into my sprites. Rooms. Act 3. Dumpsters. Spider. Save that. Export. Save that. Come out with that. Right, I think it's going to be the last thing I'm going to do is, whoops, just get this guy added in. Let's go Spider. There he is. Make sure he's a sliced sprite sheet. Apply that. Go to the editor. Remove all of them. Oh, that is not correct. What's gone wrong there? It's done a single frame. File, export, sprite sheet. Selected layers, selected frames. It's because it's deselected all of that. File, export, sprite sheet, selected layer, all frames. Check the name. Spider, save. Yes, replace it. Export. Looks more like it. Yes, that's it. The old ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 columns. Slice it by 10 columns. All looks right. Slice, apply. Done this a few times tonight. In this swing of it now. So we're going to create a new empty one there. Call it Spider. Drop our first thing on there. Delete that. So I wish you could drag these across there. Don't understand why you can't. Oh, now it's letting me do it. Didn't let me do that earlier. I did that on stream. Like, why doesn't it let you just drag them across? And suddenly it does. How bizarre. Right, what we want to do is find it first. Spider. There he is. Reset his transform so he's the right size. Shift him over here. Link him up to his little gap where he was sat. He's obviously in the wrong layer. So let's bring him to 10. Now. 3 frames a second. Just going to check this is all actually firing. I've called it spider still, but he's not still at this point. Let's fire that scene up, see if he's moving up and down, and I'm going to decide how to time him. And oh no, we've got some very weirdness. That is cycling through the sprite slice. Is that because I dropped them on there? So you can see all, oh no, it has, it's done something really weird there. What's going on there? Come on. That has gone crazy. Let's just reapply that. Go to the sprite editor. Yeah, it's still using these, so remove all of them. Size by cell count, 10. Delete the existing ones, slice. Oh, that's not right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's because they're all different sizes. Because his legs pop out. That's not handy at all. Yes, because it goes wider there. Why is that then? Discard. So we'll have to export him as a big plate instead. Let's do that. So file, export the sprite sheet. Let's not trim the cells. I mean, does that mean they're all equal? Let's try that. I'm trying to avoid exporting the entire scene just for that tiny little spider, but let's try that. Yeah, they're all in the same middle bit. For some reason I made it slightly longer there, but they're all centralized this time. Slice, apply. Did it keep the animator? Should have done. Should have done. Just fallen off there, that's why. I'm actually going to line him up with that one because I know it's going to get shorter at some point. Let's have a look at that. It's going to have to be the last thing because we're after 9 now. And he's not there at all. Why is that? We're having fun tonight, aren't we, with some very annoying little foibles. Yeah, it's forgotten all of these. That's rubbish. Get rid of all of them. Try this trick again. I've never managed to get this to work before, but it looked like it had worked. Yeah, there you go. It has worked. Delete that frame. So those three there. So he's kind of right, middle, left, middle. Right, middle, left, middle. So those four, we want to copy them, paste them, paste them, paste them, paste them. And then the sensible thing would be to reverse this. So you take all of them, copy them, put them to the end, and reverse them. And it would be lovely if you could just right click them and go reverse. Unfortunately, that doesn't exist in Unity. So we're going to have to do it the old fashioned way and move them all over like that independently. And it's just so it goes back up the web. So try that out, go to the animator, make sure that spider still is looping. He's not still, of course. I've given him a stupid name because I was going to do it a different way. And now at least he should be kind of coming down. So it's really low frames per second. It does a bit of a wiggle and then he should go back up. There we go. Back up again and then back down. So he's too slow. That is just a matter of changing this to maybe 6 frames a second. See how that looks. Yeah, that's fine. So we'll put a little hotspot on him as well. Last bit, hotspot, a spider. His monkey head, that's not what I'm looking for. Oh, because the spider thing's right behind it. Always difficult with something that's moving like this, but we don't have to be super accurate with it. Kind of roughly in that region. He's always going to be somewhere near there. Maybe a touch thinner. So examine interaction. Player doesn't do anything because it's first person. Interaction is he looks pretty happy living in here. He's hanging out over the sick, isn't he? Yeah, lovely. Above the vomit. Waiting for flies. There we go. So that should be that sorted. That's going to have to be it for this evening, I think. So, a spider. There we go. Yep. Dubious liquid. Peas, carrots, runny bamboo. Cool. Right. Yeah, that's going to have to be it this evening. I said next week. It's possible I won't be able to do it next Sunday, actually, but I am getting to the point, I think, where that's going to probably be it for live streams while I get this beta stuff out. That might change if I suddenly think of something that I need to do. I've got to do some playthroughs myself this week coming, just to get to a point where I know that it's stable enough to be in beta and that we're not going to get anything that stops people playing the game all the way through to the end. So yeah, thank you as always to those who've joined us on the live stream, both on Twitch and on YouTube. If you're watching this back on YouTube, earlier on I was doing silly carpet colour names. If you want to put one down in the chat, that would be fantastic. Go and have a look back at some of the ones that were there. Yeah, pop them in the chat. I will include them in the game. And yeah, if you haven't already, then please do go and wishlist Under the Carpet on Steam. It's going to be done before the end of the year. Beta testing might throw up loads of problems, but hopefully not. But yeah, I'm confident I'm getting very close to the majority of the development being done and into that testing and polish phase. So cool, thanks for joining me and those who've joined live, and I will see you in a week's time, if not on Sunday, then at some point soon for a kind of final live stream, maybe a bit of a recap of everything that's happened on the live streams. That might be quite nice. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Have a good evening, Mike, you're still on there. Cheers, Fritz, earlier on for your input, and see you all soon. Bye.